what caused you to write the book? Like what led to that?
Our buddy Grant Baldwin.
Okay.
We were just talking about him.
I love that dude.
So I've been blogging I started in 2009, so over a decade.
Yeah.
Right? And Grant went up to me. He's like, hey, I just wrote a book. I'm like, isn't that like a lot of work? And he was like, yeah, but I got help. And I was like, help? Okay. And do you know Jeff Goins?
Yes.
Yeah. So Jeff Goins helped me with my book.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I totally respect Jeff.
Yeah, I like him.
He's a great author, and he was a joy to work with.
Yeah.
And I have these like 1,000 blog posts of all these thoughts that I've written over the years.
Yep.
And I just needed some help to kind of compile them into like a logical format, right? So all these things that we're talking about now, I've documented on the blog, but it's kind of, on a blog, it's like, one post here, one post there. It's like all over the place, right?
Yeah.
So with Jeff's help, I was able to compose all that into a book.
That's great.
And it's always been a bucket list item for me. I literally want to take my kids to the bookstore. There's one Barnes & Noble's left in my area. I hope it stays in business.
Long enough for you to go.
Long enough for this book to come out in May. But I want to take them there. I'm going to say, hey, your dad's a published author.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to do it again. I'm not sure. But it was kind of like this bucket list item. I know you've got like 20 books or something under your belt.
5.
But
6.
I've kind of enjoyed this process. I enjoyed the process of just compiling everything. Because now I have this. Okay, here's the other reason why I did it. I forgot to tell you this. So my mom, in this entire decade, has never read a blog post in her life. And she doesn't watch any of my videos, nothing. But when I told her that I was publishing a book by a top 5 publisher, HarperCollins, like she lit up. She's like, where can I pre-order this? Like, I want to read this. I'm like, dude, you haven't read a single thing. Yeah. I'm not going to let you read this book. But I got props from my mom, from my Asian mom.
That's great. So, yeah, there is definitely, in writing books, there's definitely this, what's the word? Like, just like real world, tangible, like people can recognize that, oh, that's valuable. Yeah, my family, I don't think has ever read a video or watched a video or read a blog post, or they don't care about any of that. But like this one time I was published, this is great. Like again, for years, decade of Bigger Pockets and all these downloads and all the books I had written, even the books they didn't really care about. But then I got mentioned in Good Housekeeping magazine. My name was on there, like page 37 of Good Housekeeping magazine, as like Brandon Turner said this advice, and that made it real for them. And my mom went and bought every copy she could find, and like
that's awesome.
She was so proud of my name in Good Housekeeping because it just made it real. So
my friends who used to scoff at my handkerchief business, we got mentioned in Forbes, and all of a sudden I got all these props, right?
Yep.
And we all know, like, getting into a publication like that is kind of like a joke, right?
Yep.
But to the people who aren't doing this stuff, it's actually like a big deal.
Let's explain that real quick. Things like that, things like the Inc. 5000, like all those things, like they're not bad, like, but they're not always as real as they seem, right?
I would argue that they're not real at all. I mean, I
didn't want to say it. All right.
Publishing?
I didn't want to. Yeah, it's a lot of pay to play, and it's a lot. I mean, I get hit up every week 10 times on my DMs, like I can get you into Entrepreneur Magazine or Forbes or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, me too. Like, yeah, you get the right connections, and
it's either pay to play or you just have a friend who writes for Forbes.
Exactly. Yep.
Right.
Yep. Which for a while I wrote for Forbes and I wrote for Entrepreneur, and I would reach out to friends and be like, hey, you want to be in here?
Yeah.
And like, I never charged them, but I know a lot of people are charging people, which is not good, but they do it. So yeah, you always got to read those things carefully. Like,
honestly, like I'm so down on the media ever since I became a blogger, because everything is about clickbait, really, right? Getting people, it's because that's how they get paid.
Yeah.
So I understand what they're doing. They have to get paid, and the only reason to get paid, the only way to get paid is to get people to click and read the actual posts. So.
Did you know about my article in, I won't say the name of the publication, but we'll call it Schminsider. Did you hear about my expose in there?
I did not.
Oh man,
what was it about?
So I get all of a sudden I get these texts and calls from all my friends. They're like, hey man, some reporters asking me a ton of questions. They want to talk to me about you. And I'm like, well, that's weird. Like, I'm not doing anything, like cool or shady. Like, I'm like, and I every day another friend reaches out and be like, hey, I'm getting hit up by this reporter. Should I talk to him? Like, what's going on? And I'm like, well, yeah, go ahead. I don't know. I got nothing to hide. And so more and more I hear that. And then the guy reaches out to me and wants to talk. And I'm like, I find out he's from Schminsider, and he wants to talk. And I kind of put it off for a while and was like, no good is coming from this. It doesn't sound like it's from the questions they were asking, it didn't sound like it was going to be a good article. it was like, has Brandon ever taken advantage of you as a past employee? Things like that. It was just like weird things like,
okay.
And I'm like, all right. So finally, after he bugs me enough, I sit down, over Zoom, and I do a 2-hour call with this reporter. We spent 2 hours going through my whole journey. Very nice guy. We had a great conversation about my whole life, how I built Open Door Capital, the real estate, how I raised a bunch of capital, and how I used the internet to do that, and all this stuff. But still, I just can't get a pulse on what's this article going to be about. So anyway, I don't know, a month later, all of a sudden the article comes out. And I think it was called, people can go look for it. It's called Brandon Turner Makes a Fortune Selling a Dream. Even he thinks real estate's a terrible idea. What? And there's a picture of me with a big gold shiny tooth. Like literally, like they photoshopped a picture of me in front of a bunch of houses with a gold shiny tooth. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, what does that mean? I love real estate. I buy real estate all the time. So I read the article, and then I remember as I'm reading it, and I read this section in the article, and the article was actually very good. It was very factual. This is my story, journey, whatever. I get to the section, and the guy had asked me in the interview, what's your tip for people wanting to buy real estate? And I was like, well, if you just go out there and close your eyes and throw a rock and try to buy a house, it's going to be a terrible deal. Like you have to know how to analyze deals, get leads, run the numbers. Otherwise, it's just a terrible idea. And they took that line and said, Brandon thinks real estate is a terrible idea. And I was like, I hate the media. Like I was like that. And my empathy toward politicians and actors went so high that day. I'm like, I get it. I don't believe anything the media says anymore because I saw it happen. And I don't even think it was the guy who wrote the article. I think it was somebody else at Schminsider who wanted to get more clicks. Like, how do we get more clicks on this? Let's do a gold tooth on them. Let's make them look like it was terrible. I don't like the media. Drives me nuts.
Man, I didn't know about that.
Yeah,
I would have shared and liked it.
You know what? I'm gonna see if I can find the gold tooth picture right now while we're chatting. Let's see.
Wait, so did you do anything about it then, or
no? I just it, and nobody ever did it. Like it didn't catch fire. That's what they do. They just pump out tons of content.
Right. See, anyone who knows you though would know that it was totally false, right?
Yes.
So
here it is.
No, maybe not. Okay.
You'd think that they would know. Look at that nice shiny tooth, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Well, at least did you get any traffic from this?
Nothing. I got nothing.
You
right?
got nothing. Well, maybe it's because it's Business Insiders and behind a paywall now, right?
Yeah, and this one, it's behind a paywall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brandon Turner makes millions selling real estate investing dreams. Even he says you'll lose money right now. Yeah. I didn't say that. I hate clickbait.
But that's what it takes now to make money.
That's
right?
what it takes in the industry. Like the entire marketing world, and newsprint like that, they're monetized. They make their money off of clicks, and they're paid by the amount of clicks it gets. So, who cares if it's true?